When a child begins to walk somewhere between 9 and 15 months, that's all considered very normal and natural within that range. Potty trained somewhere between here and here, and that's all very normal and natural. But then we get kids in school and we decide this is the age that they need to learn to add and subtract. And we don't allow for those normal, natural variations in individuals.
As a teacher, we would have meetings and they would say, okay, well, how many students do you have scoring proficient or distinguished or apprentice or novice? The test scores just never reflected who they really were and the progress that they made. And I hated that for my son.
The kid who can grasp the concept on day one spends the rest of their time just killing time, being bored. And then the kid who really, really struggles, eventually the bus moves on and that kid is branded as stupid or a loser and they feel worthless and inferior.
I enjoyed teaching, but I wasn't able to teach the kids. I had to teach material, and being in that environment, I just couldn't sit and watch the little kids crying when they were taking a test and I wasn't able to help them.
My kids have been in different school systems where the focus is not really on the journey, on the learning, on the work ethic, but on the results.
My kids in kindergarten, first, second grade, being prepped for testing was really the main drive in that public school that they were in. That's what it felt like as a parent, that the public school was preparing my kids with what the government said, this is what your kid needs to be successful in the business world. And that wasn't to us education.
At the Academy for Individual Excellence, we had found that there were individuals who had struggles in education, alongside of students who were quite capable academically and were going to be able to achieve a lot of things toward the top end of a spectrum. We found that those students working together as brothers and sisters and mimicking the concept of family was very effective.
You're stuck with the same parents and family usually for life. You learn to make relationships work to where it's not just like make it through the end of the year. It's how can I learn to get along with this person and how can we build things together and grow together and how can I serve them? It's not just about you.
We try to recreate the opportunities that a child would have on a daily basis in a home. We like our children to be with the same adults for a longer period of time than just a year or two. We like for the children who are in the same classes to travel from year to year, and that was one of the beautiful things in a natural family. Children don't have to spend all their time adapting to this adult or this person coming in, that person coming in, an environment. They can use their energy toward growing and coming to adulthood in a healthy way.
Trying to make you the best person you can be, as well as academically pushing you.
In the concept of education, I think testing has become the tail that wags the dog. And suddenly it doesn't even matter what's going on with the dog as long as the tail is doing what it's supposed to do.
I solidly believe that schools should be designed for children to learn, not for teachers to teach. It's my goal, my job. If I expect them to learn, I need to teach them to catch the ball before I start throwing balls at them.
So we've been bred to want success, and so it's very unsettling just to know that we've made progress. People want to compare, and when you compare, you lose the individual.
There wasn't anything dumb about Danny. He was a brilliant guy. He was a gifted artist. He could draw. He could, he was verbal. He just had that problem with the focus.
He just couldn't really learn like everyone else. And I would try and approach this with teachers. It was like, well, we have a whole classroom of 25, 30 kids. We can't treat them differently. But everyone's different. Everyone's an individual with individual needs. How can you say you can't? I mean, you have to be able to focus on what their strengths are. But instead, I think they primarily focused on what frustrated them about him. We went in and talked with John. It wasn't like, oh, I don't think we want to take him on. It was like, we'll be glad to have him. He's welcome here.
We have first and second grade together, third and fourth grade together, fifth and sixth grade, seventh, eighth grade. We spend time where first through eighth grade might find themselves interacting in a classroom on a regular basis where the younger ones are looking up to the older ones and being inspired to reach up. and to try something new. And if they're really capable kids, they get that shot in the arm to get a jump on things that perhaps if we were only dealing with their age level, they would not have.
When I was in high school, I got A's and B's. And the reason I got A's and B's was because A's and B's are what I could get by expending no effort whatsoever. And looking back, that didn't serve me. So when I first heard about the way AIE approached things, I thought, oh, this is a school for gifted children. This is an approach designed to take those kids who get things quickly, yet keep them challenged and engaged and moving forward to actually be able to reach their personal best.
He was like, oh, okay, this is a school for special kids.
He felt like he was being punished, he was different, he couldn't make it in a big regular school. As the fall wore on, as we got to September, October, he was excited about school. He had friends at school. He was getting up early in the morning, getting himself ready. He's raring to go. He wants to be at school.
It wasn't until I was looking at AIE for my 6 children that I really began to understand the true utility of this approach. I mean, I've got some kids who get things really quickly, and I've got kids who need more time. I've got kids who are quiet and easy to deal with, and I've got kids who are challenging to deal with in a classroom situation. But this approach of bringing out the individual best of each child catches both ends of the spectrum and everyone in between. I don't think it's necessarily the best way to teach gifted children or the best way to teach challenged children. It may just be the best way to teach.
It helps those students who are precocious, those kids who are reaching out, ready to go. But it also helps the student who struggles because they don't have to be in competition with that older child. They just have to seek to grow toward it. So it inspires them. And the top kiddos get something that I think we lose in our society today. They get to inspire others because they're not busy competing against them.
Older kids will come and help you out. You get to really learn from them. It's quite inspiring. And then you get to do the same thing with the younger kids, and you can just see how they look up to you.
And I think if a person can be in an environment that allows them to inspire and be inspired, that creates a more wholesome approach to the journey of life and getting to adulthood.
I've been in the principal's office with kids before, and I've felt like I'm in trouble. And I felt like my kids were the bad guys, and I was the bad guy for not making sure that they came to school knowing exactly how they were supposed to behave and never messing up. And when you're put in a situation where you feel like you're supposed to be their adversary, it's so stressful. It's stressful at the time, it's stressful at home, it's stressful for them.
And in a learning environment, and as a kid, you don't realize that what you crave is safety. Safety to be curious, safety to explore, safety to develop yourself.
And it was just a different experience at AIE. It was treated as an opportunity to help her grow. I remember John telling me, this is where they're supposed to mess up, because this is a safe place. Because you want to be able to be your kid's fan. It's just a beautiful thing, and you feel so safe for yourself, and you feel safe for them, and that's what made me want to bring all of my kids to AIE.
I just think about Justin and how much he's grown, and last week he said, you know, Mom, this is my other family. And I said, you know, you're right. This is your family. It's my family too.
These kids are my kids. When they walk out the door, I still care about them. I want what's best for them. I'm checking up on them. I want to be known as the person who loved you and took care of you, held you accountable, pushed you to do more than you thought you could, and then love you all the way through it.
The values are consistent. The teaching is consistent from one classroom to the other. The methods are consistent from one classroom to the other. But we interact individually with each child in the way that works for them, in the way that's best for them. Because it's about the kids.
It's not necessarily about the finished result, but what kind of a person did you become on the way through that journey?
And I have never seen somewhere that has so much love and grace for children, to where they feel so safe and still be able to spread their wings and do so many things.
Everyone here is different and incredible in so many ways. Whatever you're going through, one of the best environments you could be in. Because everyone's accepting, and that's what I love.
I wish that every parent knew that their child was simply trying to do their best. And that if they ever change from that mindset, that we need to be busy finding out what defense mechanism is at play that stops them from following this urge that all people have, and that is to achieve and do more tomorrow than they did today.
Each child's journey is unique and individual to that child. John told me once, he said, we don't fix kids, we guide them. You may have brought us Daniel to fix. All we did was guide him to the place he needed to be on his journey to find the strength in himself, what was possible in himself. I pray every night and every morning that I'm able to give just a fraction of what they gave Daniel to these kids.